This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this StockBox interview.
Joined today by Kevin Lim, the CEO of Adsure. Thank you very much for your time. First time I'm meeting. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. Nice to meet you too.
Yes, indeed. So how was the presentation? How was your pitch? How do you feel it went?
Yeah, I think it was good. It's great to just get an opportunity to speak to new people and just raise our profile, really, talk about what we do and why we're a good bet for investors.
Indeed. Well, tell us just a little bit about what you do, because I watched the presentation and there was a number of really valuable things I think you said in there in terms of who you work with and what that means. But in terms of what you actually do, the product, the service you provide, just give us a bit of the elevator pitch.
Well, we are a provider of business assurance services. So when we talk about business assurance services, principally we're talking about internal audit and assurance related products. So we then start to range into advisory and consultancy spaces around fraud prevention, building premises security, cyber, digital-based assurances, quite a broad spectrum. In our target markets, which is principally the UK public sector in our main trading entity, these are mandated services. So there is a requirement to have somebody to provide an internal audit service to the organisation.
So it's a service industry, it's advisory services on key things that are mandated for big public bodies.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so we see a world where, risks change quite significantly. Those impact a hospital trust, a local government body, a university in quite the same way, actually. Okay. And so we're here to act as a critical friend to them and to look at how well they're mitigating their exposure to those risks.
So what does that look like on the ground in terms of the people who work for the company, the advisors, and how you deal with clients? I guess it's a number of series of meetings, consultations, and you draw up a plan and then oversee the execution of that plan?
Absolutely that. So we are having a look with the board around what their strategic priorities are, what the principal risks for achievement of those objectives are, and then we're building an assurance needs assessment for them, which maps out activities for the year. As a company, we're employing just on 160 people across the United Kingdom. Okay. And they are professionally qualified staff, either accountants or specifically qualified in internal audit and equivalent CCAB qualifications.
Okay, so business model then. Where does the money come from? How do you charge? What can you disclose on that? I mean, I know you've been going for quite a while. I think you said 30 years as a trading entity. So I mean, listed on the exchange for quite a while. I know you pay dividends, so you will produce quarterly reports, forecasts, etc. But how does it work in terms of enticing investors to be part of your story and your growth story?
So the listing's a bit more recent, so that was just over a year ago now.
Okay.
So we've put Adure on top of the principal trading entity as a holding company. That's really to help to create more opportunities to exploit growth. Our trading entity is very well situated within public sector markets. History suggests that once you're in there, you're in there. Getting in, there are barriers, but once you're in, you're in. So we are established in that whole framework. But if we do want to look at an expansion plan that may mean taking those services and putting them into a different space, we're quite pigeonholed within that core trading entity. Okay. So Adure now gives us that opportunity to look a bit more broadly at how we may potentially be able to expand more laterally into other markets.
Okay, and the listing on the exchange could be part of those plans to potentially expand? Helps
us raise our profile, absolutely, and helps us look at other things that we're doing in sort of revolutionising the way those services are delivered.
Okay. I know you pay dividends as well, so I mean, can you give me any idea on sort of current revenues, cash flow, profitability, etc., and the dividend yield?
So last year we were turning over about 9.3 million. We'd had quite a significant boost both in profit before tax and EBITDA kind of compared to the previous period. We paid both a maiden and a final dividend post-listing. That follows, as I say, quite a long track record of having paid dividends as a limited company to shareholders previously. The yield's strong against the share price, and that's very much the appetite of the board to continue to work with our shareholders to reward them for their loyalty and their investment in our company.
And what would you say to investors then? Are they going for capital growth as well as a steady dividend at this point?
I think we would want to be doing both, yes. Yeah. We would want to be providing capital growth as well as a return on that investment in the form of a dividend.
So how do you plan to continue that capital growth? I know you talked in your presentation there about other services, also AI as well. So you can give us a sense of perhaps the bigger picture plans from the company here about how you can perhaps start building some of that capital value.
So we're not finished within our core trading entity at the moment. We have an opportunity to level up our portfolio in different areas of public sector in different parts of the UK. That in and of itself brings significant opportunities. From there, we can also start to look at how we can improve through a better account management, selling them more advisory services. We have quite a broad range, but some of those are quite limited in their exposure to different markets at this moment in time. So about 70% of our revenues is coming from our core mandated service internal audit, with 30% from our advisory sell-ins. If we can start to get a bit more balance there, then there's still a significant amount of opportunity there. We just talked about looking at how we could use Adsure to enter new markets, whether that's acquisitions or strategic partnerships. So that's clearly a different facet of growth. And then, as you rightly say, we have a project for development of AI tools at the moment, which is being delivered through funding from Innovate UK. We're working with the University of Essex, which gives us access to a broad range of academic specialists. It also helps us to make the project far lower risk for us in terms of an input. But because we're going to own that IP, we have quite a high reward from that, both in terms of economies and efficiencies within our business, improving market share as a result of having innovative technology, but potentially also to start to think about how we may be able to offer those capabilities out on license in the future.
Okay. And you said it was 9.3 million turnover, is that right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Do you have any KPIs, any targets to improve on that you can disclose today, or?
So we have a growth mindset within the company, and trading results are looking positive for the current year. Interims will be due out in December, so we'll start to get quite a good feeling there for where we sit, and we'll have comparators from shortly after we listed last time. And I think that should give investors and potential investors quite a clear signpost of where we're going.
Indeed. And just a final thought, would you consider yourself, I don't know if it's a blue chip company, would you consider yourself in that league yet? Because you're certainly quite a lot more advanced than a lot of companies at this sort of sector and on the exchange, where companies are either pre-revenue or they're looking for mining funds to grow and explore. But you guys have been established for quite a long time. You've got a really good steady revenue, and you're paying, dividends twice a year. That's kind of getting into that blue chip, smaller market cap, but blue chip territory.
I think we clearly are quite a unique company in this space, and that's interesting. Clearly, that's going to have generate some interest amongst potential investors. I think we have, we're still new on this journey. We're still looking at how we can find our feet in this environment and how we can maximise the benefits that we get from this exposure. But certainly, we're looking forwards and we're looking up.
Okay. And you're in it for the long haul, yeah?
Absolutely,
okay.
Yes.
Well, very nice to meet you. Kevin Lim, the CEO of Adure. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programmes at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.